field, making its way through Moss Corner, that double right-hand turn, that what they call 5C is just that first little kink in the Andretti straightaway.
Where they are right now, under the WeatherTech Bridge.
And then turns 6 and 7, really just two slight bends in that Andretti back straightaway before the run down into the top of the S's at turn number 8. That is where Savoy went off. And it'll be interesting to see here on this restart. That was quite a move on the original start by Popoff in car number 55. It looked for a while that Shipman was going to be able to get the jump from the inside, but that car of the race leader, 55, as he comes through here, Popoff was able to hold him off, but that actually had opened up a pretty good advantage when they came back here to complete that opening lap. We get set for the restart. Field coming in at turn number 10.
Shipman right on the gearbox of Alex Popoff. Again, this is a single wide restart, so they have the advantage there on the initial start side by side as Popoff drops the hammer as they take the wheel into turn number 1. Caleb Campbell right there behind him. They're single file as they make their way down the hill. A daunting section of this racetrack as they work their way through Clayton Corner and into Quebec as they climb the hill and then again into turn number 4. Popoff with about a 5 or 6 car length lead, it appears, but the battle is on for second as Kekai Hawaniho all over the back of Cooper Shipman as they make their way into Moss.
He'll take a look on the inside right there. Great battle going on for that number 2 spot coming out of Moss Corner as Alex Popoff, the race leader, is starting to stretch it out over a tremendous battle going on for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. And then we've got the 5 of Dimitri Nolan in 6th, and 51, Luke Power, rounds out the field.
Luke is the, and there goes Hawaniho once again going defensive against Clemente Huerta. Huerta now challenging Hawaniho for that spot, and right behind him is Caleb Campbell. So a three-way battle for the final step on the podium. Hawaniho with that red, white, and blue livery, and then right behind him is the battle we're watching.
Campbell and the 17 car there of Huerta having an absolute war for that 4th place position as they peel off of turn number 3. Meanwhile, out in front, Alex Popoff in car 55, the fastest lap of the race, a minute 22.901, and he has opened up a full second on Cooper Shipman, the pole sitter, in car number 14. And then that race for 4th and 5th, Huerta in car 17, Caleb Campbell in car number 68, going at it for the 4th and 5th place positions as they work up the Andretti straightaway here on lap number 7. We approach the halfway point in this 30-minute run. It has been all Alex Popoff at the front of the field.
It's a good shot of Kekai Hawaniho and that number 29 car. They work their way through the final set of S's. Once more, number 1 or 2 on this racetrack, moving on to the start-finish straightaway. The starters reach the end. Like Cooper Shipman, though, might be the one to watch. He just set the fast lap of the race from 2nd in that number 14 car. So Shipman now beginning to close back down on Alex Popoff. We talked about tires yesterday during qualifying. These teams, each car is allocated 2 sets of tires that have to last through qualifying and the 4 races. The teams can allocate those sets of tires however they wish, but tire management is one of the skills that these drivers learn. This is a ladder series. This is a series destined for for drivers coming right out of go-karting to get into a full-size race car, a single-seater for the first time. Tire management is one of the skills they need to learn. And that's the reason for the limitation on tires, plus the fact that it's obviously a cost-saving measure as well. We talked about that yesterday. The FIA specification that these cars are built to is designed to make this as cost-effective racing as possible. The cars are all identical. Storm by Super HB is the official name of the engine. It's a Bushrod V4, 1.6 liters. It is normally aspirated, but that V4 configuration gives it a real bark to the exhaust note, very different from the inline fours, the high revving engines that we so often see in this style of racing. But this battle at the front is getting very good indeed, as Cooper Shipman has reeled in our leader, Alex Popoff. He's tucked in the draft right now as they work their way up the hill toward the S's. Let's see, is Shipman going to pull the trigger here? Popoff's going to make him go the long way around as they head into turn 8. Shipman is right there, side by side. They're giving each other racing room, but this is a great battle as they come down the hill and into our view from our commentary position here and onto the front straightaway. Popoff holding off the challenge for the moment, and Shipman is the middle move. Back to him.
About 4 or 5 car lengths. The pace up front is into the minute 21s and just about 0.3 of a second, separating the 55 of Alex Popoff and the 14 of pole sitter Cooper Shipman. They exit 5B, and now the uphill climb on the Andretti straightaway. Still just a few car lengths separating those two drivers, and then the battle for the final podium spot between the 29 of Jaramillo and Huerta in car number 17. Looks like he is cleared off from Caleb Campbell, 68, who rounds out your top 5.
And once again, this lead battle is a dandy as Shipman once again closing up, not quite as close as he was a lap ago, but he's got some time. There's almost 12 minutes remaining in this race. And Shipman is right there as they close down on Alex Popoff. Across the line they go to the 10th place. Side by side, the battle for the lead once again. Under the bridge into the S's. But nose ahead is Cooper Shipman. It looks like he's got that pass completed. A little bit of a lockup as he was as late on the brakes as he dared. Now the first one is Cooper Shipman. It's has taken over the top spot. And Popoff will play the turn around the close as it was, Shipman, having taken the lead, has opened up about a 5 or 6 car length advantage here. So Shipman doing what he's done so well in the last two rounds of racing. He has swept the podium at Mid-Ohio and in New Jersey. Our last 2 rounds, so he's won 4 in a row. He looks to be on his way to win number 5, perhaps. We've still got 10 minutes to go. This one is not over yet.
And John, the big move he made was coming on a Moss corner. He got a great drive out, was able to
the straightaway. Under the WeatherTech Bridge they go. There's the second place runner, Alex Popoff. And in this battle, Huerta's side by side much earlier than he has been. I think he might have the momentum here, but Aladillo's trying to keep him honest. Huerta ducks in front. Can Aladillo respond as they come into the S's? It looks like Huerta's made that pass. So Huerta up into third. Aladillo drops the fourth. So he's got 2 minutes remaining in this race. Finally able to get around that 29 car. It's really come up here in less than 2 minutes. Rounds out your running order here in the 11th place spot. I think we're looking for his 5th podium on the season out of the 11 races checkered flag flies on this one. He had a pair of third place finishes at a major race around. And that's Jersey MOTORSPORT and nobody had anything for this man. He brings it back 4 seconds out of the first. For his 5th consecutive victory. That's the King MOTORSPORT driver from Austin, Texas. He's going to see the white flag.
do something. I just gotta put the hot spot on here. Just hold on a second.
Here for a moment. Again, the CTMP marketplace is open. Food concessions around the racetrack. Those Canadian Tire roadside assistance shuttles are operating, and the shuttle station is in the marketplace if you need to get around. And of course, lots of great motorsport merchandise from the CTMP merchandise trailer, Fast Eddie, and Wally's Garage.
Radical Cup Canada presented by Michelin. I'm Dave Bradley, joined in the booth by Peter Lockhart, and we are getting set for a 40-minute time for you in zone Radical Cup Canada series. We'll go through these cars, the drivers, and how tight the competition is in the overall championship, and how tight you see it on the track here today. But there is two different races within the race. There's an overall championship run, but also a Masters championship. And really, there's nothing to distinguish the cars. It's just the age of the run.
Hey Dave, the cars are identical, and they're all 1540cc cars. The differential, I think, is all age related. Like Masters group starts at 40. These are really competitive guys, but maybe not the kids. So it's good to have two races happening.
So you see one making their way. That's right. We will welcome you to the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in the end zone Radical Cup Canada, presented by Michelin. Joined by Peter Lockhart,
Alex wasn't too happy with qualifying. The setup wasn't exactly the way he wanted. We'll see if they can change it.
And he's having a lot of fun driving, that's for sure. John Painter in the 9 will start in 7th, and Rob Burgess in the 2. He's your reigning Masters champion, but he's decided to run in the overall championship this year. In the 2, he'll start off in 8. Igor Bugayev in the 26 will roll up in 9 spot with Kenny Greenman, and uncharacteristically back to the 10 spot.
He had problems in qualifying. Ended up on the book, and was lucky to get
Then Cedric Lehan, he's your points leader in Masters class, coming into this one. We'll start in 11th spot. Lane Shu in the 12th spot in the 3 car. Steve Costuba in the 99. Thomas Miller in the 41. And then John Beverlade in the 90. Roll out in 15. So that is your field here. Winning episode of Radical Cup Canada presented by Michelin. And again, it is a 40-minute time race. Do not get many warm-up laps. Essentially, this is it. So you try and build as much heat into those Michelin tires as you can. As you see the field forming up down the end ready straightaway. Watch for the pace car to dive down pit lane as the field makes their way through turns 9 and 10.
beautiful liveries on these cars.
It really is, and they look so much like prototype cars, and really it is a stepping stone into the IMSA prototype categories. Once you sort of cut your racing teeth in these Radical Cup Canada cars, it is a wonderful building block for a future in motorsport as the field comes onto the front straightaway. Green flag is in the air. Caden Goodrich in the 55, Brady Clapham in the 77. They will lead the finish for number 1.
start to finish here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Thanks to Peter Lockhart for joining me. I'm Dave Bradley. And you've been watching the M-Zone Radical Cup Canada presented by Michelin. And we're just going to head down to talk to the winners on the podium here in the M-Zone Radical Cup Canada presented by Michelin. Up next, the Nissan Sentra Cup. We'll be back in the broadcast booth to bring you race number 1 for the Sentra Cup. Thanks very much for tuning in, and big congratulations to Brady Clapham, the winner in the overall class in the M-Zone Radical Cup Canada presented by Michelin, and to Daniel Pearl in the 39, the winner in the Masters class. Race set to go in just about 7 minutes at 10:25. It'll be a 40-minute run for the Nissan Sentra Cup. The first of 2 races on the weekend to decide the championship, where we've got a close 3-driver battle, including the 2 drivers who are 1-2 in the championship are going to be starting on the front row here in race number 1. Valerie Limage on the pole position, a qualifying lap here with the racing simulator and plenty of free samples of Monster Energy taking place there in the CTFP marketplace, along with displays of OnStar, SiriusXM, Roy Nichols Motors, Gully City Overland Ford, Bethesda House, and the Ron Fellows driving experience. Also, the Canadian Tire Kids Fun Zone with bounce castles, inflatables, games, and giveaways. They've got complimentary face painting coming up as well today. The Kids Fun Zone will be open up until 5 o'clock. At 11 o'clock this morning, the beer garden will open. Also, our CTMP merchandise trailer, and that is where you will find event t-shirts along with other CTMP gear, including hats, hoodies, mugs, and a whole lot more. And we also have, for NASCAR Canada fans, Fast Eddie Racewear, the official supplier of NASCAR Canada merchandise, as well as Wally's Garage, also in the CTMP marketplace. Our Canadian Tire roadside assistance shuttles, they will operate to take you to various spots on the racetrack right up until 6 o'clock today. They will also operate tomorrow from 9 until 6 o'clock. Once we're wrapped up on the racetrack, we do have the Saturday concert on stage in the beer garden with the band Rhythm Review. That all kicks off at 7 o'clock, and following the concert, we will have our Saturday night fireworks display just after sundown. In terms of food trucks for the fans up in the Turn 3 area, Miller's Meats in their traditional position just south of the big orange grandstand there at turn number 3. And outside of turn 8 in the family camping area, that's where you'll find Cabza and their food truck. They will be here all weekend long. Also want to remind you that the Gilles Villeneuve collection, they are here in the CTMP marketplace as well. They've got the new official Gilles Villeneuve collection at their booth in the CTMP marketplace today and tomorrow. I believe they displayed the collection while we were here 3 weeks ago. And their special MOSPORT offer features a black t-shirt of Gilles Villeneuve photographed right here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, aka MOSPORT as it was known in 1977 at the actual Formula One race. Gilles here at the track in 1977, and there's a beautiful black t-shirt with that photo, so any motor racing fan will want to have one of those in their collection. Again, they've got a booth in the CTMP marketplace as we get set to go now with our third race of the day. Track announcer Matt Gonzalez, our thanks to Peter Lockhart and David Bradley for covering the M Zone Radical Cup Canada race. They will have their final race of the season tomorrow, and the championship will be on the line with the victory. Brady Clapham has closed the points battle there with Kenny Reedman, who came into the weekend as the championship leader. That should be an outstanding second M-Zone Radical Cup Canada race presented by Michelin coming up here tomorrow morning. It'll roll up at 10:45. Dave Bradley and Peter Lockhart will be on our public address system for that. Gave you the rundown there for the Central Cup. Visit here to the racetrack behind the series as they were part of the weekend here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, the Victoria Day Speed Fest. Valerie Limage won one of those races. It is Simone Vincent who tops the championship coming into the race out here this morning with a 21-point advantage over Limage. And so this one going right down to the wire. Nissan Sentra Cup. And in all likelihood, it'll be that final race out here tomorrow. The Nissan Sentra Cup race will be at 12:25, a second 40-minute run for the drivers in the Sentras. He's prepared with all of the safety gear and the roll cages. Unfortunately, we did drop out that one number 50 car, that Nicola Levesque, who missed qualifying yesterday, had the problem at Ross Corner right at the start of the qualifying session. In fact, we had a bit of a delay before we were able to actually get the first of the qualifying laps in, because that happened on the out lap for Levesque in car number 50. So he is out of the rest of the weekend, unfortunately, for the Profiteer Levesque car at uniform number 50 Nissan Sentra. Field making their way on around as they roll off of the end of the Andretti straightaway into the turn 8 area. And that Chevrolet Corvette safety car will head for pit road. And then it will be up to two of our championship hopefuls, the 91 of Simone Vincent and the 1 of Valerie Lepage. Let's check that pace car. The Sentra's using a Nissan vehicle to pace the field, not the Corvette. Here's Valerie Lepage out of turn number 10. The rest of the field looking for the green flag to get this one underway. And there it is. We're racing. The clock has started here 30 minutes from now. Work their way back on around, and we'll give you the rundown. It looks like we had a total of 12 cars take the green flag to get this one underway. And again, we had that tight points battle coming into the weekend where the 91 car, Simone Vincent, was 21 points up on Valerie Lepage. The 427 of Nicola Barrett was 58 points back in third, mathematically still in the hunt. But really, between the two drivers up on that front row, 91 Simone Vincent, that white number 1 of Valerie Lepage, as we wait for the cars to appear under the Canadian Tire pedestrian bridge. Run down into turn number 8. These drivers very equally matched. It's all about carrying that momentum on the turns. And you've got to get a great drive out of Ross Corner in order to stay there in that lead pack, as already it looks like the 91 of Vincent has gotten around the pole sitter Valerie Lepage as they work their way back down through turn 9 and into 10. A little bit of a gap back to another pack of 5 cars, so there are 7 cars up front in that lead pack as they work out across the line. Simone Vincent is your race leader. the Andretti straightaway. 91, Simone Vincent with the lead, back down into the top of the S's here at turn number 8. They swing for 9, and it's that number 91, Central, running out in front. Limage right there in second, and they have tightened it up here. The front running 6 cars right together, and Steve Poulant, 47, has dropped back. So it is a 6-pack of Centrals coming up across the we've had here so far, the lone driver to get in to the minute 43-second lap times, and Barrett, who is sitting there third in the championship, knows he's got to win this race to close up that 58-point gap on Vincent in car number 91. 113, Marc-Antoine Demour in fourth. Jean-Francois Couture in car number 7, rounding out your top 5. And the last driver in that lead pack of cars, 419, Raphael St. Pierre in 6th. And then a bit of a gap back in his 7th, and 37, Steve Poulant. 8th is 210, Stéphane Pouliot. 9th is 87, Matthew Lemire. And then rounding out your top 10, 428, Sean Scully. 11th is 27, Francois Bourassa. 12th is the 3 of Pierre-Olivier Paquette. And that is the last car on the racetrack. As up front, the pack of cars through the right-hander at turn number 8 into 9. Here's a side-by-side battle into turn number 10. Valerie Limage will grab the lead away from the 91 of Simone Vincent. They're going to go side-by-side under the Michelin Bridge and back into turn number 1. This is an absolute monument.
Going, people. Just had a shower. Let's see everyone in here. Bow. Shout out. Bow. Everybody else. It's a bit windy, but it's perfect weather.
side. There was no contact there between Limoges in car number 1 and Nicola Barrett in the 427 through turn number 10. And then Simone Vincent, who's got the best seat in the house to watch the action up ahead of him. The rest of the rundown as we work lap number 12. 113, Marc-Antoine Demour in 4th. 419, Raphael St. Pierre runs 5th. 6th is the 7 of Jean-Francois Couture. 87, Matthew Lemire in 7th, leading that group that includes 210. Stéphane Pouliot in 8th. 27, Francois Barassa 9th. And 427, Sean Scully rounding out your top 10. Back down through turn 9 into 10, we've got yet another new leader as they play shuffle the deck. It is 91, Simone Vincent, who has gone from 3rd all the way into the lead at the end of lap number 12. For that chasing group that's running 4th, 5th, 6th. 113, Marc-Antoine Demour in 4th. 419, Raphael St. Pierre 5th, and then the 7 of Jean-Francois Couture in the 6th place position. So whatever happened up front there among Vincent, Barrett, and Limoges, they shuffled out into the lead. Barrett right there in 2nd, and Valerie Limoges in the that exchange. She was the leader at the start of that lap and then got shuffled back into 3rd. We'll see the running order as we wait for those cars to come rocketing off the end of the Andretti straightaway, dive under that Canadian Tire pedestrian bridge and into turn number 8. Each one of those drivers has led this race here so far, as we've got less than 18 minutes to go, so just past the halfway point, and we've had so many lead changes. Those are only the ones we've seen here through this portion of the racetrack. Elsewhere, I'm sure there's been positions being swapped on almost every corner. Here's your leader, Simone Vincent, no change up front. Vincent, number 91, your leader, 427. Nicola Barrett 2nd. Valerie Limoges in 3rd. And how about this battle for 4th? 113, Marc-Antoine Demour just ahead of that and then the 7 of Jean-Francois Couture rounds out your top 6 cars. 87, Matthew Lemire still leading that quartet of cars back down the start-finish straightaway. They'll duck under the Michelin Bridge. 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th place cars. It is still Lemire 87 and 7, 10. Pouliot in 8, 27, Francois Barassa 9, and Sean Scully in car number 428, rounding out your top 10. It's still the 3 of Pierre-Olivier Marquez in 11th. Looks like Steve Moulin, 37, is out of the running. He went out on lap number 8, and Nicolas Levesque, the 50 car, was the one non-starter after having problems at Moss Corner right at the start of qualifying yesterday. We worked lap number 14, a little over 16 minutes remaining. Simone Vincent is your leader. He has run as far back as 3rd, as is the case with 427 Nicola Barrett, who is currently 2nd. He has led a number of times here, and Valerie Limoges in car number 1 has run at the front as well as they work back through 9 and into 10. No change up front, still the 91, the 427, and the 1. Vincent, Barrett, and Limoges. And we wait here as they go through. We'll check the lap times back to that chasing group. Raphael St. Pierre can find just a little bit more pace. They're going to be right up there and battling with the likes of Simone Vincent, Nicola Barrett, 427, and the 1 of Valerie Limoges for the win out here this morning as the group that that's fighting there for the other positions inside of the top 10. Matthew Lemire, 87, continues to roll. 7th place position, ahead of 210, Stefan Pouliot, 27, Francois Barassa, and 427, Sean Scully.
See you in a bit. All right. See you in a bit.
You got anybody else coming?
Nope.
Okay. I just don't want anybody.
Somebody said from work said they might come.
I just don't want anybody.
Valerie
to talk to
Lamage,
anybody.
two-time Centra Cup champion on a Longueuil, Quebec.
Okay, thanks. And we gotta go get gas.
At the end of that 14th lap was .329 of a second back. They've been less than a second apart pretty much throughout this entire run here this morning into turn number 9. It is still the same running order, the 91 of Simon Vincent, 427, Nicolas Barrette, and then there's that chasing pair now of 113 Marc-Antoine Demour and 419 Raphael St. Pierre trying to work together to run down those Barrette a minute 43.977, and then Valerie Limage a little bit slower at a minute 44.105. Marc-Antoine Demour 113 into the minute 44s, and Raphael St. Pierre, his last lap there was a minute 45 and change, so they are now making it. Down the start-finish straightaway. That is the 3 of Pierre-Olivier Paquette in 11th. And right now he is 14 seconds back of that pack that's battling it out for 7th through 10th. As we come up here on minute number 28 of the schedule of 40. Great to have you with us, ladies and gentlemen. Track announcer Matt Gonzalez here, flying solo this morning. We'll be joined by Jonathan Pippin as we go to our final race before the lunch break, the FR Americas, race number 2 of the weekend. Here's that lead battle once again. No change in the order through turn number 10. It is the 91, the championship leader, Simon Vincent, looking to add to his lead. Nicolas Barrette, 427, and the 1 of Valerie Limage trying to make up some points. Of the race, a minute 43.869, so she is right there, 3/10 of a second back of the race leader. This one is not over. You get the feeling that Barrette 427 and Limage in car number 1 are just waiting their time, waiting to the final 2 or 3 laps to make their move on the race leader and the championship race leaders on this song. No change there in 4th and 5th, but that is a dandy battle between Marc-Antoine Demour, 113 in 4th, and 419 Raphael St. Pierre in 5th. 6th is the 7th Jean-Francois Couture. And the 4-way battle for 7 through 10 involving 87 Matthew Lemire, the 210 of Stefan Pouliot, 27 Francois Barassa, and the 428 of Sean Scully. Lots of positions being swapped back and forth in the early part of this race, but things have settled down as right now those drivers at the front content to just hold their positions as they come through. Let's change that. We've got a lead change. Not sure if that happened up the Andretti straightaway, but all of a sudden Nicolas Barrette coming into the weekend 3rd in the championship, so he knows for him to win the title he's going to have to win both of these races and hope that Vincent finish maybe outside of the top 5, but right now all 3 of the drivers drivers who are 1, 2, 3 in the championship are running in that lead trio as they complete lap number 17. We've got less than 10 minutes to go, just past the 30-minute mark. Nicola Beretta, leading there at the end of lap 17. 91, Simone Vincent in second. Valerie Limage in number 113, Marc-Antoine Demour fourth, 419, Raphael St. Pierre rounding out your top 5. And then the other great battle we've been watching here is that race for 17 and 10. That 4-car tussle with 87, Matthew Lemire leading that quartet. And Stephen Pouliot, who is chasing him from 8th, just turned his fastest lap of the race, 1:45.574 for Stefan Pouliot in car number 210. Off the end of the back straightaway into turn number 8, Valerie Limage was right there, but could not get around. It'll still be 4:27. Nicola Beretta will bring the trio back onto the start-finish straightaway. Here's that fight continuing between that yellow number 113 of Marc-Antoine Demour and the 419 4th place position on the very final lap as we've got 32 minutes completed and just 8 minutes to go. There's 7. Jean-Francois Couture, he is all by himself in that seventh place spot. And then all of a sudden, what had been a tight little 4-car battle has now separated. 87, Matthew Lemire at 210, Stefan Pouliot 7th and 8th. And with the gap now back to and trying to stay with him is the 428 of Sean Scully. Scully's best lap came earlier, 1:45.436. And that has been about as quick as that record 17 been able to go. The rest of the field into the minute 43s ahead of that 4-car battle. It's now a couple of 2-car fights for 7th and 8th and 9th and 10th. Work lap number 19. Coming up on a little over 7 minutes remaining. Nicola Beretta, 4:27, your race leader. Simone Vincent in car number 91, and then Valerie Limage, the trio out of turn number 10. They're on the start-finish straightaway. Coming to the stripe, they will put lap number 19 in the books. That last lap for all 3 of those drivers was a minute 45. And then 113, Marc-Antoine Demour in 4th, and Raphael St. Pierre, car number 419, rounding out your top 5 as they work lap number 20, a little over 6 minutes remaining. That is enough to get in maybe 4 more laps before the checkered flag comes out. We'll continue to monitor that rider stand for the last lap indication. Things are certainly may have led more laps than the other 2 drivers there. 91, Simone Vincent has certainly had his turn at the front, as has Valerie Limage in car number 1. And again, all 3 of those drivers 43-second fastest laps of the race. So not a whole lot of difference among those 3 drivers, about half a second as they completed that 19th lap here. And we come up on a little over 5 minutes remaining off the end of the Andretti straightaway, back in through turn number 8. And in 9, here is a change in that second place position, at least for a moment. But now Simone Vincent, Valerie Limage trying to drag race back to the line. The 91 of Simone Vincent can't get it done. And as they mixed it up, Chevrolet Grand Prix bridge down through the bottom there of turn number 2. And then it's actually a bit of an uphill climb up into Quebec corner at turn 3, where we do have that big orange grandstand. If you're looking to get off your feet and sit and watch some of the action, that is a great spot up there in turn number 3. And then just your race leader. He was 3rd in the championship coming into this weekend, so if he can win it, he's going to close in on Simon Vincent, although he was 58 points back in 3rd. We'll update those points as we look ahead to the final Nissan Sentra Cup race of the season. That will be tomorrow afternoon, prior to all of our lunch break and our opening ceremonies for the WeatherTech 200. 12:25 the scheduled start out of turn number 10. The 427 of Nicolas Barrette works back to the line, and he has opened up some car lengths here on the 1 of Valerie Lamarche, that flagger stand. Did not look as though they got the last lap indication, so it should be next time around. We've got a little less than 3 minutes to go, so I would think next time by, and Barrette opening up almost a full second here on Valerie place runner. That is Matthew Lemire up into 6th. The 210 of Stéphane Pouliot is 7th. 8th is 7. Jean-François Couture up into 9th. 4th. And then the 3 of Pierre-Olivier Paquette has moved up into 10th. As Francois Bourassa in car number 27 has dropped off of the lead lap. So it looks like we're going to have a couple of DNFs. Here's the battle for the lead. Valerie Lamarche has closed right up here on the 427 of Nicolas Barrette as they work back to the line. And there's the white last lap flag. We are less than a lap away. Which one of these 3 drivers are number 1 under that Chevrolet Grand Prix bridge? Lamarche in that white number 1 entry in second, 91 Simon Vincent right there in 3rd as they head into turn number 3 on this final lap. 113 Marc-Antoine Demour still running 4th. 5th is 419 Raphael St. Pierre, and we've got a number of drivers turning their fastest laps of the race here late, including 87 Matthew Lemire and the 210 of Stéphane Pouliot. Will be making their way through Moss Corner here for the final time. Nicolas Barrette 3rd in the championship. Valerie Lamarche 2nd in the championship and 2nd on the racetrack. Simon Vincent, the championship leader. He does have a bit of a points cushion sitting back there in 3rd. We'll see whether or not he makes a move and is looking for the win. All eyes focused on the end of that Andretti straightaway, waiting for that trio of Sentras. They are side by side into turn number 8. Valerie Lamarche was right up alongside of Nicolas Barrette, headed for turn number 9, and it is Barrette with the lead into turn number 10. Lamarche dives in on the inside. Looks like there was a bit of contact there between Simon Vincent and Valerie Lamarche, but at the checkered flag, it will be Nicola Barrett, 427. This is certainly going to tighten up the championship battle. Valerie Lavange gets up there to finish second. Simone Vincent across the line in third. And just exactly a second separating those top three cars after 40 minutes and 23 laps of racing. Each one of those drivers